Hi, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the REMAX Speaker Series. I'm Charlie Bengal. It is my pleasure to welcome Antoine Dupont to our program this morning. Antoine is a recognized digital marketing strategist, an award-winning marketing agency owner, and an international speaker. Though his first job out of college was working for Gordon Ramsay, Antoine now travels the world, or did previous to this year, sharing his lead generation and business growth marketing methodologies with entrepreneurs. It's great to have you, Antoine. Welcome to the program, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think I should change this to use to travel the world.
Right. Well, hopefully next year we will be able to see you internationally
I
again.
certainly hope so. Thank you so much for having me,
My
Charlie.
pleasure.
All right, can you see my screen now? We should be good, right? All right, great. So welcome everybody, and welcome to my presentation, How to Stand Out in a Content-Saturated World. A couple of things before we start. The first thing is I was born and raised in Paris, France. So I have a tendency to mispronounce words and specifically to put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable. So if I do this, don't be alarmed. I'm just French. And the second thing is I am not a motivational speaker. There's a matter of fact, I don't believe in motivating anyone because if you motivate an idiot, they just do stupid things faster, right? So I am an educator. I am here to have you see the world in a different way. So those are really, really strange times that we're in. Now COVID-19 is completely in the middle of our lives. Obviously, we have the very hopeful thing with the vaccine that's there, that we may our life return to what it was, or maybe a semblance of what it was. But those are really, really strange times that we're in. On March 10th, I was in Nashville, Tennessee, speaking to 6,000 real estate agents, and I flew home on March 11th. And the U.S. government, shut down international travel. I mean, as a French guy, there was big panic there. What's happening? And then the NBA canceled. Right, I was like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" And the worst of all is like, Tom Hanks got COVID. I was like, I really thought he was going to die. I was like, "Oh my God, what is going on?" This was a crazy time. So there's so much uncertainty, with our business, everything shut down, like the real estate world. I mean, everything just shut down. And then maybe some of us felt like this, like, what is going on? And obviously, I don't use language. I mean, welcome to Florida with this. But this is where a lot of us were like, what is happening? So, I did what any sane person would do. And I watched the entire season of the Ozarks. And I know that some of you probably did it too. And then for good measure, I said, well, let's just watch the entire season of The Office while we're at it. And then at the end, I says, well, sure, why not? Let's just watch Tiger King. With my wife asking me every 5 minutes, why are we watching this? And it's like it's kind of like watching a train wreck, in slow motion. It's awful, but you cannot stop watching it. But where we are left with is now what? What do we do? And specifically, what's around the curve? What's happening around the curve? What do we do next? So I don't know much about Formula car racing, but I know one thing, that the race is won in the pits and in the corners. The race is won in the pits and in the corners, because it's really easy in a straight line to go pedal to the metal and go as fast as you can. But some will spend enormous amount of time, enormous amount of money in creating the best possible engine. But when everything is equal, the race is won in the corners. And what's important about the corner is you have to slow down, but you have to slow down only until the car is stable, and then you gun it. Because as Jackie Stewart said, the exit from the corner is more important than the entry. Because once the car is stable, it's pedal to the metal. And this is exactly where we all are. Regardless of what industry we're in, we need to prepare ourselves for what's coming right around the corner. And there's a lot of uncertainty about it, but there is ways that we can do to prepare ourselves, because at the end of the day, the pros will emerge from the corners, go full steam ahead. The exit from the corner is more important than the entry. And so now here we are, right, in the world that we're in, where it's a complete content overload, where we're bombarded with information. And I don't think that there is any places that more exemplify the amount of volume of content that we are being subjected to, right? And people, consumers, just don't know where to look. Yeah, just when you're in the middle of Times Square, you don't know what to look at. Everything is shiny and scrolling and moving aside. I mean, this is our world. This is happening right now. Right now, this is the volume of stuff. I mean, look at the upper right hand corner. 294 million tweets already by 10 a.m. Right. I mean, I know that half of those are probably from the White House, but still, that is a lot of tweets. Like 2.7 billion videos viewed on YouTube so far. It's absolutely incredible, the volume of information that is being thrown at us. But the consumers are left with, they don't know who to trust. They really don't know. They don't know where to look. It's just too much stuff, and they just don't know who to trust in all this. And for us as marketers, if we're putting ads there, there's no guarantee for success. There's no guarantees that your Facebook ads are going to work. There's no guarantee that your landing pages are going to work. There's no guarantees of anything because of the sheer volume of stuff. We need to elevate the conversation. All of us, if we want, this is how we actually get out of the corners. We need to elevate the conversation for people to pay attention to us, right? And because everybody has a promo, everybody has a promo, everybody has a special offer, and everybody has, there's never been a better time, right? There's never been a better time to buy a house. There's never been a better time to sell a house, right? All that stuff. Consumers are exhausted from getting pitch slapped. Yeah, I said pitch slap, right? They're exhausted, all of us. It's like, you know, we're getting on average 3,000 messages a day, you know, from between Facebook and our emails and text and everything. It's completely overwhelming, and consumers are exhausted from getting pitch slapped. You drive down the highway, and there you go, tons of billboard, pitch slapped. You go to the bathroom, anywhere, or in a public space, and there's an ad in front of you, pitch slap. You go and look for shoes on the internet, and the shoes follow you everywhere you go. Pitch slap. We need to stop pitch slapping consumers. We just really need to do it. We really need to stop, because consumers are exhausted from getting pitch slapped. Now, clever marketers are telling us that the way to go in 2020 and beyond is with the funnel. Like what we need is a good funnel. The good funnel is going to fix everything. And I just really got curious about this concept of the funnel, and I did some research on it. But who invented this? And the funnel was invented by a guy by the name of St. Elmo Lewis. I am not kidding. That's serious. In 1898. He invented the funnel, and this is his drawing. This is his picture in the bottom right corner. And here is his invention of the attention, interest, desire, connection. The funnel was invented in 1898, and it created multiple ideas. And he even had those little buckets: the attention, the interest, the desire, and then they shrinked in size. And so what you're looking at is the old version of this. This is the funnel, right? This is what they're telling us that we need to do. Or you have this one, which is the bow tie funnel. Now we're funneling people on both sides. How fancy is that, right? Or this one, that doesn't even look like a funnel, but this is the bofu, the mofu, and the tofu funnel. I tried tofu over Thanksgiving, by the way. Don't do it. It tastes like feet. But so we haven't evolved our marketing truly. We haven't. We're doing the same thing that we have been doing since 1898 with St. Elmo Lewis. You know, what we've done is it's just got prettier. but the concept of it is not any really significantly different. We need to rethink our approach. If we want to win in 2021 now, we need to rethink our approach. So I'm going to share with you four principles of marketing that is going to help you navigate what is coming around the corner in 2021 and how we're going to be winning that game of getting more attention, more visibility without annoying people and pitch slapping them all day long. So the first principle is we need to understand the customer journey. Right? When does it start? What happens? What is the customer journey? We need to do a much better job at understanding that. A customer journey starts with a moment of inspiration. There's a moment of inspiration that starts that actually the light bulb goes, and then you're thinking of, okay, I need to do something about that. For me, it happened about 6 months ago when I received a letter from the Lexus dealership that my lease was up. Right. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I forgot about that. It's up. It's time. So I was starting to think, okay, well, do I get another one or do I get something different? And so that's the moment of inspiration. Like all of a sudden, the light bulb went up and it says, oh, okay, I got to start thinking about this. So the moment of inspiration here, I'm not rushing to the dealership, but I'm just thinking and I'm driving around and I see the Audi. I'm like, ooh, this is great. Look at this. This is a beautiful car. Possibly. I want to look at this. And then I saw this one. And I was like, oh my God, look at this spaceship. This car is absolutely amazing. So I rushed home. I looked at the price and I told my wife, honey, we're getting a minivan this year. I had no idea that these cars were that expensive. Right. But joking aside, that's doing the exact same thing. There's a moment of inspiration that happens. They're thinking of either selling or buying their homes. And between the time that they actually are taking action to the moment that they have that moment of inspiration, a lot of things happen in the middle. Let me show you what happens. Marcus Sheridan actually wrote a book that is extraordinary about it. It's called They Ask, You Answer. And Marcus Sheridan has an amazing story. He actually started a pool company, a fiberglass pool company in 2005, right before the 2008 crash. He almost lost everything. Like he just his business almost completely collapsed. You can imagine he had factories where they were building these pools and all kinds of employees and equipment and all that. It was absolutely bad. So he did the research. It's like, how can I absolutely win at always getting in front of people? How can I get as many people, as much visibility as possible? And it discovered that the 5 subjects that every single buyer wants to know, regardless of the industry, and regardless of what they're going to be buying, whether they're going to be buying a fiberglass pool, or whether they're going to be buying a house, or whether they're going to be buying a car or a computer, or these 5 subjects. They want to know how much it costs. What are the potential problems? Can you compare this versus that? They want to see reviews and they want to know what's the best of, regardless of the product, regardless of the industry. Right? So these are the subjects that move all buying decisions, right? So if you think about it, like in my situation, well, what did I do? Once I decided I was going to get a minivan because I was going to lower my expenses in 2020, well, I look for the best minivan 2020. Or someone may look at the best neighborhood in West Palm Beach or the best community in Orlando. Or whatever things that you're looking for. And then I look for how much is a Dodge minivan? How much is a 3-bedroom home in this community? How much is a 5-bedroom home? How much is a condo here? People want to know that, right? They're looking for that information. And then what is the problem with Dodge minivan? I want to know. What could be the problem with buying a condo in this town? What could be the problem with buying a house in this part of town? Right? People want to know these questions. And then Dodge minivan versus a Toyota minivan, right? So Orlando versus Jacksonville for real estate, right? So all those questions, or it could be, this part of town. I keep on mentioning Florida because I'm in West Palm Beach, but you can apply this to any neighborhood, any town that you are in America. It's the exact same conversation. They want to know. And then I want to look at reviews. So are there any reviews for that? And then finally, but that's my last question, then I look for a Dutch dealer near me. Everybody wants to win the battle right there, but they're forgetting that there's a whole bunch of questions that your consumers have before they get to that, right? Before they're looking for real estate agent near me, right? So one of the things that you need to know is that 57% of the decision is made without you. 57%, and in some cases 70%. Like people are coming to you, they're not coming in like not knowing anything. They've done their homework, right? And maybe they have some misinformation, but that's they still come with a lot of information. So what we need to understand is content is the product. Content is what will make people make better decisions. And so there are 5 ways for you to post your content. You can actually create videos. You can put it on social media. You can create blogs that are answering these questions. You could put it on your website, or you can have a white paper download. There is a real estate agent in Tallahassee that had a 60-page how to sell your home on your own. I'm not kidding. It was his #1 source of lead, right, for an entire year. Right. This is what, because people want to know, because people would get to page number 14 and they would be like, ugh, that's too much work. Why don't you do it for me? Right. So the first principle is they ask, you answer. You understand the customer journey, and then throughout their journey, you actually answer the questions that they have. This is how you're going to be generating a ton of leads, and this is how you're going to be positioning yourself, not promoting your business in front of them, but actually answering their questions. All right. The second principle is after a book from the Heath brother, Chip and Dan. They wrote a book called The Power of Moments, and they've uncovered something that actually is extraordinary, and it applies very well to the real estate, buying a house or selling a home. They did a study on people going to Disney World. And what they've done is they surveyed people that would spend the entire day in Disney World and say, we're going to be calling you on the hour, on top of the hour, and then we're going to be asking you, what is your experience of whatever you're up to so far? So every hour they would contact them, and they would say, how's your experience so far? What's going on? So here's the breakdown of what would happen. People would arrive in the park. Right, they would park their car, and I don't know if you've ever been to Disney, but you have to park your car in a different county. Then you have to walk, a quarter of a mile, then get in the shuttle, and then the shuttle takes you. I mean, it's just a whole adventure. The kids are already crying. You have to push the stroller. It's not particularly fun, that part, right? So then people are saying, well, this is okay, but I said it was a 3 out of 10. Right. And then they arrive in the park. They walk in the park, and the kids get to meet the characters that they've been waiting the entire year. And that was a 9 out of 10. Right. This was extraordinary. The kids are happy and everything is going right. And then the kids are hungry, so they want to eat something. So you take them in a restaurant, and then you just realize that you've bought yourself, a $35 per person breakfast at the all-you-can-eat buffet, and you've just spent, almost $200 for your entire family on breakfast alone. And you're like, that was not what I was expecting. And that was a 2 out of 10. The food was good. It's very expensive. And then you get into the ride, right? The kids get into a ride that they've been waiting, all year to see. And that's really a lot of fun. And the kids are happy, and you're taking a movie. So that was a 10 out of 10. And then you walk out of the ride, and how did they do that? You walk in and you're in a store, right? You walk out of the ride, and there's all those things, and the kids are like, they want a t-shirt, they want the bag, they want a little dress. And that was a 3 out of 10. That was rather annoying. And then at the end of the day, Disney World has the firework. Right. And it's one of the most beautiful displays that you've ever seen. They do an amazing job at that. And people say that was a 10 out of 10. But here's what's interesting. When they ask people, when you tabulate those results, the result is a 6.5 of the entire experience from the moment they arrive at the park until they leave. That was a 6.5 every time. The average was 6.5 point. But when you ask them on the way out of the park, how was your experience of Disney? The average was a 9. So what explains the difference? Well, the difference is explained by the fact that Disney World understand that you have to build peak moments into experience. That's the first thing, that the experience of someone navigating through whether they're buying or selling a house or whether they're going to Disney, there will be ups and downs. They're putting the house on the market, they have their hopes up, and then they're having an offer that is like 30% less than what they asked for, and they're upset. And then they have an inspector that comes and inspect the house, and then they have to change this and that, and it's a lot more expenses than they expected, and then they're upset. And then they get a great offer. So, and then they're happy. So it goes up and down, up and down. The experience of someone is always will navigate the ups and downs, but you have to finish big. And for a real estate agent, the big finish for you is the close, right? This is where you have to leave people with a memorable experience, or you have to build peak moments. You have to pay attention to the great moments in the transaction and the experience of them dealing with you into peak moments, and know that there will be moments that won't be great. But when there is a great moment, you need to capitalize on it, right? So let's go into the third principle of marketing and how to position ourselves for 2021. Video marketing is king. We absolutely need to dominate and win the game at video marketing. It's just as simple as that. So picture this: about 5 years ago, I was in my minivan. I had a minivan then, so I went back to it, and the clock was off by an hour. You know, daylight savings, and I didn't know how to change it. Like you have to have an engineering degree to change the clock in my car for some reason, right? So I get the manual, I learn how to do it, and I shot this video of me changing the clock. And then I don't want to keep it on my phone because, you know, I just don't want to keep all that volume. So I upload it to my personal YouTube channel, and I forget about it. And I come back 6 months later because it's time to change the clock. And by that time, I'm happy I got a video to remind me how to do it. And this is what I discovered. 38,000 people had viewed my video. And I was like, my jaw dropped. I was like, I could not believe, like, how did that happen? Because you want to get the context. Is at the time I had created like about a dozen videos, and I think one of the most viewed that I had on one of my videos was like, you know, maybe 100 views. And I was like, what happened here? And on top of that, there was tons of great comments, people that were happy, and they were like, oh, thank you so much. I've been late for a year now, not anymore. Like a lot of great comments. So I went on, I was like, I have to understand what happened here. Right. So since then, I've created over 350 videos, and I just recently passed 1 million minute viewed on my channel. So I figured out a few things. But what we want to understand is that 51% of people go to YouTube for how-to related content. 51% of people, according to a Pew Research Center. That's staggering. That's what people are going for. There's a matter of fact, if you can put it in the comments there, if you're watching this, you know, say yes in the comments if you have look for how-to related content in YouTube in the last 30 days, right? So let me show you how you can generate endless sources of content for your videos, because that's usually where people get stuck, right? What we want to do is we want to reverse engineer our content. To do that, I use a couple of methods. And the first one is a tool called SEMrush. And inside of SEMrush, there's a feature called the Keyword Magic tool. And what you do is you put in your keyword, and the machine is going to tell you, these are all the questions that people are asking around this keyword that I entered there was selling your house, right? So the first question that people want to know is how to sell your house. How to sell your house by owner, how to sell a house, how much does it cost to sell a house? Look, the fourth question that people ask worldwide on the internet about selling a house is, how much does it cost to sell a house? You know, that's, you know, it's just right there. This is what people are searching for. Right? They're not looking for where is the closest open house. They want to know, how much does it cost to sell a house? Right? Those are the questions they have. The issue with SEMrush is it's not free. It's about $100 a month, so it's a little bit pricey. But there's another tool that goes for the whopping price of free, that is called answerthepublic.com. So what you do with answerthepublic.com is you do the exact same thing, but in this case, I use buying a house. So you put your keyword in there, buying a house, selling a house, whatever keyword that you want to use, and it will tell you all the question in this beautiful flower that you have in front of you. And if you zoom in, you will see a question. So how long buying house process? Right. So the first thing you notice is people don't speak English on the internet, but at least you know what they're trying to say. So you take that question, for example, how long buying house process? People want to know that specific question. And I take that question and I paste it in YouTube. And I want to know how many people answer that question. And I want you to take a look at it. Those are the top 5 videos that are the results in YouTube. And how many of those videos are answering the question? The answer is not, they're close, but they're answering a different question. There's not a video that is specifically answering that. They're just similar, right? But that's not that question. So that means that if you create a video answering that question, that your video is going to rank. That's literally how it works. So what you want to think is so when you're putting a question like that, you want to know what's missing, and what can I make something better? Because sometimes you'll find a video that is answering the question, but you're like, I can do a much better job at that, and they miss 2 or 3 things that I think are really important, right? So those are the 2 questions you want to have. You should be like this right now. This is. You use answerthepublic.com and you will have the answer for the next 20 to 30 videos or 20 to 30 blogs or 20 to 30 posts that you should be making. You would actually respect people's where they are in the customer journey and answering questions that they have. This is how you increase the visibility. This is how you increase your exposure. This is how you get people to actually know who you are. It's by simply answering their questions, and people will actually discover you. All right, there's another tool that I use in this Google Trend. But Google Trend by itself, if you look at this blue line, you're like, oh, okay, got it. So that's selling a house. What is the trend for selling a house? Okay, so this is from June of 2019 to May of 2020. Okay, got it. But this is not what's interesting is if you compare it to another keyword like buying a house. Take a look at this one. Yeah, what do you think the trend is out there with people and in terms of their search and what they're looking for? Yeah, buying a house by a long margin, right? So if you want to create some content right now, I would say, well, I would do buying a house for a while until it flips. And eventually it will flip to selling a house again. But right now, people want to know all questions relating to buying a house. How do you negotiate? How do you find good homes? Whatever questions they're asking, these are the questions you should be answering right now. So I want to talk about a myth that I've heard specifically around videos. And it's about the fact that we have the attention span of a goldfish. And I've heard this so many times that it makes my head spin. It's not true, because if we have the attention of a goldfish, if that is true, because I've heard speakers saying on stage that we need to create content that is short and sweet because we have the attention span of a goldfish, then explain that one to me. Explain how people with the attention span of a goldfish will binge watch an entire series over the weekend, hours after hours. Explain that, right? So it's not true. It's not that we have the attention span of a goldfish. If it's your content is boring, we'll watch 5 seconds of it. But if it's great, we'll watch 90 minutes. Well, that's the truth, right? Boring content gets 5-second attention. If it's good and if it answers the question that I'm looking for, then I will watch until it's done. All right. The second thing that I want to talk about, with video marketing is like people want to create ads or commercials, right? They want to promote their business. And I just want to remind you, the last time you went on YouTube and the video that you were searching was loading. And then right before you had an ad and you had that little button on the bottom right hand corner that says you can skip the ad in 5, 4, 3, right? And then you're like looking at that button and you clicked on it at 0 like you're diffusing a bomb, right? Here's the thing. I don't want to watch your ads, and you don't want to watch mine. We don't want to watch each other's ad. Ads is not where it's at with video marketing. We don't want to see you, again, promoting your company and how great we are. We know how good you are. We want you to answer our question. Video marketing is not about creating ads. So here's the world of video marketing. This is where people are. This is what they're doing, and these are the types of video that we should be producing for them. So let's just look in the red part. Where are they? And then on the left part and the top part, right? So where are they? They're on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. What are they doing? Where they're exploring? This is maybe they have begun the customer journey, maybe not, but they're just exploring. What kind of content do they like when they're exploring? They want short videos, the why videos, the 2 to 3 minute, not because they have the attention span of a goldfish, because when they're exploring and they're just looking around, that's the kind of content they want to have, right? It's just short and sweet because that's what works. But then, as they are entering the customer's journey, they want help and information. They want answers to their questions. Where do they go? They go on Google search. They go on YouTube, and they look at blogs. They're looking. This is when they're taking the questions that they have. They put it in Google, and they will consume any content that is there in front of them. And then at that point, that's when they want long videos. They want how-to videos. Those videos should be between 5 to 10 minutes. At that point, they want more in-depth information. They're no longer exploring. They're looking for information that is resolving their problem. And when they're ready to take action, which is at the bottom, they want short videos, 1 to 2 minutes, on the website contact page, on the service page, on the About Us page. They have found you and they want to know, okay, how do I take action? Who are you? And this is where you should have videos that basically is saying who you are. If you understand that, you will create the right content for the right person at the right time. And you need to have content in all 3 of those sections. You need to have content when people are just exploring, when they need help and information, and when they're ready to take action. And again, what I see with a lot of people is they actually want to capture people when they're ready to take action, but it starts way before that. All right. So the 3 things that when I talk to people, and I'm spending a little bit more time on videos because I think it's continuing to explode in 2021. When I talk to real estate agent or business owners throughout America, there are 3 pushback that I get with videos, and those are the same across all industries. The first one is, Antoine, I don't have time. It's very time consuming. I got to take care of my family. I just got way too much on my plate. And on top of that, you're telling me I've got to do videos, and I get it. It's fair. You're busy and I get it. The second one is, I don't know how. Right? I don't know how to do videos. It's too complex. Well, there's tons of how-to videos on the subject on YouTube, so you can learn how to do that. All right. But the third one is my favorite, and it's the one that I get almost 100% of the time. Is I don't like the way I look, and I don't like the way I sound. And so please in the comments put yes if that's the case for you, because this is, I believe, the thing that stopped the vast majority of people from starting to do videos because of that, because they are concerned in how they look and how they sound. But I'm here to tell you that it's universal. Everybody feels like that. I have not met yet one person that say, oh yeah, I absolutely love the way I look and how I sound. That's exactly how I pictured it. Nobody says that. Right? But I do believe that it's a competitive advantage, because if it stops you, then it's stopping everybody else as well. And the competitive advantage is that don't let it stop you. Do it. We actually know what you look like. You're in front of us. We can see you. Do you know what I mean? It's not a big surprise for us. And there's nothing wrong with you. You're beautiful the way you are. There's nothing wrong. We know exactly what you look like. This is something that you need to I'm going to highly recommend that you get over that. You get over that hump. It's not going to get easier. I've been doing now videos for years, and I am still uncomfortable watching my own self on video. I still like, oh, is this really what I sound like? Because I think I sound and look like George Clooney, right? Honestly, this is what I think. I'm that good looking, and then I watch my videos, and I'm like, wow, it's more like Uncle Fester. But the point is, it's like, my wife is like, yeah, but I still love you. You're my Uncle Fester. The point is, please know that it's not just you, it's everybody, and use that as a competitive advantage, because it will stop your competition in their track. And this is what people want to consume. They want to consume videos that is answering their questions. I don't know if you know Gary Vaynerchuk, but Gary Vaynerchuk is probably one of the top social media marketer in the world. You may not know him, but he's very, very famous in social media and in marketing. And what you're seeing here is its first video ever. That's Gary's first video on YouTube. And he said that video was so bad that he looked like he was in a hostage situation. And I was like, yeah, actually, it kind of looks scary. I mean, the lighting, the everything about it is scary. And this is mine. This is my first video. This is what it looked like. I had the Logitech, the webcam that I put in front of a PowerPoint. Just the lighting is awful. I look very significant and awful. But here's the point that I want to make about this. Perfect is the enemy of good. We have a say here when we create video. Is the video good enough? Right? We're not trying to be perfect here. Your first video is not going to be perfect. There's a matter of fact, chances of your first video actually not being great at all is very likely, right? But how you get to be good at it is by, practicing and doing one video after another one, because I can guarantee that your 10th video will be significantly better than your first one. And the same goes with the 20th video that you do. How do you actually get to a point where you start to get into a flow is by opening the camera and start shooting. And listen, the reality is your first video, not a lot of people are going to see it. Right. It's just, but what you have to do is you have to practice, and you have to start somewhere. Do not get stopped by trying to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect. Use Gary Vaynerchuk and myself. Just go for it, and then just shoot your first video. So the third principle is video is what they want to consume. This is what we want to consume. This is what they want to consume. Video is getting 18 times more engagement than pictures and text combined. It's 18. That's significant, right? All right, let's go over the fourth principle that we want to apply for 2021. And it has to do with the huge power small, what I call the huge power small. And I want to tell you about a case study that was done with the iPhone, and particularly the iPhone box. And if you bought an iPhone when they first came out, you probably remember that you got the box at home, and then you try to open it, and as you try to open it, it resisted a little bit, and then it went, and it opened up, and you were like, oh, that was like something. Well, this was not by accident. This was by design. Apple tested hundreds of boxes until they found the right one that would give you a tactile and sensory experience. They didn't pick that box by accident. This was by design. They wanted to create an experience with the box, because what they know is then when everything is said and done, what people remember is the experience they had with something. And I can guarantee you that a lot of people open up that box, took the phone out, closed the box, and they put it on the shelf somewhere in their house, and the box is still there to this day, right? That's what's amazing about this. So that's the huge power of small, is paying attention to the small, tiny details of what we do. The customer experience is not the big things. It's the small things that we do that makes a huge difference. In 2020, the customer experience it will overtake price and product as the key brand differentiator this year. Right, this year the customer experience is more important in people's eyes with price and product. That actually is more important for them. 73% of buyers point to the customer experience as an important factor in purchasing decisions. Right? It's extremely important for millennials. Millennials absolutely love the customer experience. By the way, they're turning 41 years old. They're coming in mass. They're going to start to they already are coming in big in the real estate market, but they're coming in droves. The youngest one are just turning 21. The next 20 years in the real estate market is going to see a massive impact with millennials buying and selling properties. The customer experience is really important to them. A lot more important than it is with boomers, right? And I'm not saying that boomers don't care about the customer experience, but that's definitely a millennial thing, right? 83% of people are saying they're more likely to buy when someone recommends based on their experience in the business. 83%. 83% of people says just recommend based on the experience of the business. And when I ask people, I go from business to business and I ask them and I says, what is your customer experience strategy? And most of the time I get, well, we do this and we do that. And I says, but is this a written strategy? I mean, is this specifically a strategy that you have thought about, that you constructed around the customer experience? And most of the time it's like, no, not really. We just do things that way. So the truth is that improving the customer experience is the best way to stand out. I mean, if you want to stand out in 2021, I would be paying attention to the customer experience in a big way. And what we need to change is we need to change tactics that choose tactics that makes each touch point inspiring. Right, each touch point of the business. Let me tell you what I mean by that. When you think of the customer experience is in marketing. Right, there are touch point in your marketing that you can improve the customer experience. It is also in sales. How you answer the phone. How do you send a contract? How do you deal with the process of sales? It also in the service, how you show up. How do you do open house? How do you meet them at the house when it's time to show them a house, and how you support them? The customer experience is everywhere. From the moment that they see actually the first video answering the question until you give them the key and they get to the house, every single touch point in the process can be improved and should be looked at. So here are some of the things, the contract that received, the form submission, the form confirmation, an open house, an inspection, register, download, live, subscribing, unsubscribe, the website, the business cards, the gift, the charity that you actually donate to, donation and the signage, all of it is part of the customer experience. When I've worked with clients, and when we do that, we actually use Post-its, and we think of the customer experience from the first moment that they might be thinking of buying or selling a house until the end. And we use a Post-it for each and every single touch point. And then we take out of this one Post-it and we said, okay, how can we do this differently? How can we stand out? Just this one. Because it's overwhelming when you look at all the touch point that someone would have with your company. It can be overwhelming. It's not about taking care of all of them, but it's about taking one Post-it, one of them, right? Which could be the close. How you do the close with a client. It says, how could we do this differently that it leaves a memorable experience in the head of our customers? The 5 benefits of the customer experience is you will get increased customer loyalty, increased customer satisfaction. You'll get more word of mouth. Things like, oh, you wouldn't believe what my real estate agent did with us. This was so cool. This is the type of stuff people talk about. People don't talk about average experience. We talk about the awful and we talk about the best. So you have to create something that actually gives them something to talk about. You'll be spending less on marketing. Right? And it will increase your profitability. Those are the key 5 benefits of improving the customer experience. So let me show you a couple of examples of what we've done with with people with their customer experience. And let's talk about contracts. And I know that with contracts and the real estate, they're kind of formatted, but I just want you to get the concept and the idea. It's not that you can necessarily do that, but I want you to get what we've done. These were the types of contracts that people would show us, right? This is what the typical contract, right? It's like a contract and it says blah, 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 a whole bunch of blah, blah. Look how great we are and all the things that we do. And in the bottom, there would be a price. And sometimes the price would be buried in page 4 or 5. And we say, no, this is what we want you to do. You start with the price. What do people want to know? They want to know how much it is. Right? And then we said, that's the price. And that includes a number of special thing. This is the first thing. And this is the benefit. That's the second thing. And that's the benefit. There is nothing on the contract about the company. It's all about them. And we start with the price. That technique increased their close ratio by 37%. Just by changing the contract. We just delivered a better experience. Actually, how people want to receive a contract. They don't care about how great we are. They want to know what's in it for them. Right. And another thing that's actually extraordinary. Do you know that 40% of the people believe that the price on the left is more than the price on the right? Yeah. 40% of people think that the first number is bigger than the second one. Right. You know who writes price with the comma and decimals? Bankers, because they have to. We're not in the banking. Right. We're in a service business. Do not add a decimal. It will actually make the number look smaller. The response time also is something that we've worked with clients, and 90% of consumers rate an immediate response as important or very important when they have a customer service question. 90%, the immediate response. And then look at that. Look, that's the results of that survey, right? The customer satisfaction rating. 73% of people prefer live chat, right? And then after that, 61% is email. 53% is an app. 48% is on social media. Look at the phone, 44%. I'd like to know when I speak to people in person, it says, I want to know how many of you were actually mildly annoyed that someone called you in the last 30 days when they could have sent you a text. And almost every single hands goes up. Right. So do you have a live chat strategy with your customers? Do you have a way to say, okay, this is what I use and you can live chat with me anytime you want? You might want to put some boundaries. You might want to say, hey, I don't want to be bothered, after 8 o'clock at night and not before 8 o'clock in the morning. It's perfectly fine. But you have a way to actually being able to engage people how they want to communicate to you, and how people are saying they want to communicate with someone in 2020 and 2021 is live chat. Right. So let's talk about time too. Time. There's this company here, Beaver Tree Service in Sydney, Australia, and they created something that's really, really cool, and that could actually apply as a real estate agent. They set their appointments with weird time, 9:55. So we'll be at your house at 9:55 or 10:25. They always have odd hours. So that's the first thing. Like it says. Did you mean like 9:25 or 9:30? What did you mean? It says, no, we'll be at your house at 9:55. And it actually is using a technique that a town use where if you put an odd number or different number that is unusual, people will react to it. And they're like, oh, if the speed limit is 17.5 miles per hour, they must mean it. That town reduced speeding at that particular intersection by 90%. Right, because people think, well, I'm going to get a ticket if I go 18 miles an hour. Like they will slow down just simply because they changed the number. But here is what they would say. Say, okay, we're going to have the time at 9:55 or 10:25, and we'll be on time or it will be free. On time or free. And what happens is they even get people standing at the end of their driveway, watching their watches, not believing we will be so punctual. Yeah, they're never late. And it's actually a game they're playing. They know they're going to be on time because they teach their drivers to go to the place and then go around and park around just around the bend, just around the corner, and just wait until, 9:54. And at 9:54 start driving. And people are like, I cannot believe here they are again on time. It's a game they're playing. Guess what their marketing budget is? 0. That's it. That's all they do. That's what they've done with the customer experience. They know they can be on time every single time, and they make a promise. And based on that, they're just getting all the business they can handle. It's just really simple. So 82%. of buyers says that a slow response as the biggest source of dissatisfaction. Right, 82% of people are saying, you not responding fast enough for me is the biggest source of dissatisfaction. I sent an email to someone yesterday; they still haven't responded to me, and this morning I noticed that I was mildly annoyed about it. Right, it's just a vendor, and I'm like, why hasn't he responded to me yet? Right, so we need to respond super fast. This is why live chat helps out tremendously. All right, so the fourth principle is make the customer experience. The customer experience is about the small stuff. It's not the big thing. It's not the big fireworks, although if you're Disney, you can do the fireworks. But it's about the small stuff. It's about paying attention to the small details and then taking that little experience that someone will have with you, whether it's when you put the sign on their lawn that you're going to be selling the house, or at the close, or how your business cards are, or the fact that you always happen on time, or you'll give them something, for free. It's about the small stuff. That's how you stand out in a content saturated world. So if you want to get a copy of my slides, you can text me your email at 561-285-2967. I will send it to you. You're not entering a sweepstake or entering a funnel, because I do not have a funnel. I would just send you my slide straight out. And it's been an honor speaking with you this morning, and I'm going to return the floor to Charles. And if you have any questions, I left a little bit of time. I went a little bit quick, so we would have some time for questions at the end. So Charles, back to you.
You were amazing. I have not had the pleasure of watching you or hearing you speak previously, and I've been around for 22 years in this industry, and I've had the pleasure of watching hundreds of speakers, and you, my friend, have got to be in my top 10.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, and actually, it's much better. Live in person, because I can move on stage and have fun with people. I'm actually so I can't wait to do this again with you live in person when we're able to do it again. But I appreciate the nice words. I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Of course. It looks like we don't have any questions, so We'll give a few minutes back to our audience. Antoine, always good to see you. Looking forward to having you back soon. Stay safe and happy holidays.
Thank you. Same to you. Thank you so much.
Take care, everybody.